This is the fastest way to learn or teach a new person the skill of roofing sales so they can make their very first sale as quickly as humanly possible. The new person and the company want the same thing, which is a fast sale. Because roofing sales is like a drug, and once you experience your first commission check, that is the moment that you believe in yourself, you believe in the opportunity, and you believe in the company. And I'll never forget my very first commission check. It was a little over $2,200. By the way, this was back in 2011. And at that time, that one commission check was more money than I used to earn in an entire month of being a massage therapist. So that was the moment that got me hooked. I haven't left since. Here we are almost 15 years later. And I want to help you get to that moment that could change your life or the life of the people you're hiring and training as fast as possible. Now, I've done other videos on the training steps, the 7 training steps to take. This is different. In this video, I'm going to be teaching you a mental framework to approach the daunting skills of roofing sales and break them up into the categories that you need to go through in order to learn this new skill. And the way that I want you to think of this as if you're learning a new physical skill. So let me tell you a story. I've been wanting to learn how to do a muscle up on the pull-up bar. And for those that don't know, a muscle up is when you're in a pull-up position and you're able to actually pull yourself up over the bar and then press up into a tricep extension. Or tricep press up, basically. And it's a really difficult movement. People that could crank out like 20 pull-ups just can't do muscle ups. Now, I learned how to do them on the Olympic rings, which is different because you can kind of swing your whole body through. But I struggled for years getting this very simple skill down on a pull-up bar. And it wasn't until I watched Chris Haria, he's a YouTuber that my wife Sheena turned me on to in the calisthenics world, and he taught me how to break down the muscle up. So instead, most people are like, here's how you do it. And I tried to follow, I couldn't get it. But he goes, okay, we're gonna break it down into steps. First, we're gonna grip the bar and we're gonna swing. And what that does is it puts your body in the position where you can swing your body into the next move. So you start hanging, you swing slightly so your feet are in front of you. You're gonna then pull yourself up into an L sit while at the same time doing a pull-up. Okay, so you're basically doing a pull-up like an L. So I did that part over and over. So swing, okay, I got that down. L sit to a pull-up, got it. Then the next part was actually to throw yourself forward over the bar. So in the L sit, you roll forward, got that part, and then the final piece was the press. So what I'm gonna teach you is a similar way to take this complex skill and break it up into these little mini learning chunks so you mentally know how you're going to be approaching the sales process. So we're going to start at the very top, which is canvassing or going door to door. By the way, this applies if you're in retail sales and you're running set appointments. Just skip this step and continue on with me after this, okay? Now, first is your canvassing openers. So when people think door knocking, they think like start to finish. I have to show up at a stranger's house, talk to them, and get on the roof. I need you to stop that mindset and think of it, again, in that analogy of learning a physical skill, breaking it up into the individual parts. So part number 1 is your canvassing opener. That's step 1, is your canvassing opener. This is where sales reps get really intimidated going out to knock doors because they go to approach the door and they say to themselves, I don't know what I'm gonna say. So then they get butterflies, they get nervous, they get anxious, they fumble through their words. So what we need to focus on first is what is my canvassing opener? What am I going to say when I approach the door? If you want more on this, jump in my free training center right now. It's totally free. And I have a playlist on there on canvassing, and I'll teach you the openers, how to say hi, break the ice, let them know why you're there, and how to ask an open-ended question. We can cater this to different scenarios of why we're in the neighborhood. And again, when we chunk it into different areas, which I do in my sales training system, I teach what to say when you're brand new in the neighborhood. No one's seen you before, which is different than if you are coming back into the neighborhood and you've been there before, which is different than if you signed a new customer and you're knocking the neighbors, which is different than if you're showing up because the neighbor's install is going on next week, which is different than during installation day, which is different from when you're there after the install is complete. So all of these different reasons that you're showing up are going to have a different opener. Hey, the reason I'm stopping by is blank. And then I'm going to ask an open-ended question. Where are you at in the process? What did your insurance company say? When was the last time you had your roof inspected? So once you understand how to chunk this idea of all I need to know is my canvassing opener. What do I say as I approach the door? So again, I don't want to go training on each of these topics because we'd be here forever. So if you want more on this, get in my free training center and check it out. Owners, you're welcome to share that with your team, all right? Now, that's chunk number one. Chunk number two is what I'll call the canvassing pitch. So if you follow my SLAP formula, which is S, say hi and break the ice. L, let them know why you're stopping by. A, ask an open-ended question to get them talking. And so you know exactly how to P, present or pitch to their answer. So if I say to a homeowner, hey, where are you at in the process? And they say, what process are you talking about? I know how to P, present to that answer, meaning this homeowner has not yet filed a claim and is completely unaware that they have damage. So I know, okay, I have all these different pitches I can use. I'm going to grab that one, which again is different than if they say, my insurance company denied me, or we already got approved, we're shopping for estimates. So if we can break all of these true to life scenarios out, which we do, again, I provide more on that in my video, which is in the free training center. You probably find it on YouTube if you tried, called the pitching matrix. So check that one out. I break down all those true to life scenarios. So once you know how to, again, your canvassing pitch to present to those answers, that's a different skill that you can learn, okay? Now, so again, chunking it up, we covered your canvassing opener and then your canvassing pitch, which brings us to number three, which is presenting. Presenting is the step-by-step process that you follow in the home. I teach the car park closing formula, and that's the presentation through closing the deal, obviously. Now, it's really important to look at this presentation as one chunk and closing is separate, and I'll tell you why. Because salespeople that don't have a process to follow, they wing it or go from memory, and that's when they fall apart. They also get nervous, the homeowner takes control, they don't close deals. So if you want to learn about that process, again, it's in my free training center, and you'll find, if under the closing playlist that I have in there, you'll find a video. I also have a closing masterclass in there, so those will really help you understand that presentation process. The CAR PARC formula stands for Connect, Assess, Report, Present, Ask, Referral, and Kickstart. And what you're going to do is use those as talking points to hit, okay, all right, I've connected with them, I've assessed where they're at in the process, I'm reporting my findings on the roof, I'm going to get them to acknowledge the damage, I'm going to present how the company can help, then I'm going to ask for the business, that's the A. Before I leave the house, I'm going to R, get referrals, and then K, kickstart the expectations of what's going to happen next. So again, that is the third chunk, which is the presenting. So how you're going to deliver your value proposition in the home. Now, chunk number 4 is closing. Closing is its own animal, and it's different than presenting because closing is where we ask for the business. And this is where many salespeople, they fall apart. They get afraid or nervous to come across as being salesy, sleazy, or pushy. So they just present and hope the customer's gonna throw money at them instead of being very direct in asking for the business. In my free training center, I have a webinar replay I did from way back when, which is really powerful, on 10 different closing techniques that you can use for virtually any situation. So I teach my favorite one in multiple videos, but I'll give it to you now. I call it the comfort close, where I clear all the questions up front. Say, hey, Mr. Homeowner, do you have any questions for me so far? No. Great. Does all this make sense? Yes. Fantastic. Are you comfortable moving forward? Are you comfortable choosing me as a contractor of choice? Are you comfortable taking the next steps? Whatever it is, the comfort close, where you just ride that wave of comfort. And by the way, there's a lot more that goes into this, but that's just kind of the quick teaser. Again, you'll find more on that in my free training center. Now, the next thing, the next chunk, which is chunk number 5, is objection handling. Objection handling happens in 2 ways, proactive and reactive. I'm going to repeat that. Objection handling occurs in 2 ways, proactive and reactive. Proactive is making sure that we address the most common questions and concerns throughout our presentation in the home, which is step number 3, again, presenting, okay? Now, those are things like the other guy was more expensive, the other person said they'd eat my deductible. All of these common questions that homeowners ask, from kind of like intense deal breakers to not really a big deal, we got to get those out of the way early. And when we air out what they're going to ask, it actually puts people at ease because they're like, yeah, I was worried about that, or I was thinking about it. Oh yeah, you put me at ease. So that's proactive objection handling, which will be covered in your presentation. And then reactive is when you're given objections that say, I don't want to move forward because. And these would be things like, I have to talk to my wife about it. I have to think about it. We want to wait and get 3 estimates. And for that, I have oodles of videos in a formula called the ARO, Objection Handling Formula, of course, on my free training center. I got tons of videos here on YouTube. The free training center will just help you organize it and get access to what you need, okay? So Objection handling is the next chunk that you have to mentally prepare for. Now, chunk number 6, and there's only 2 more left, 6 and 7. Chunk number 6 is product knowledge. Now, I am no roofing expert, and I will tell you that my product knowledge is my weakest skill set. It always has been, and it's for a variety of reasons. 1, it bores me. 2, it's complicated. And 3, I know enough to communicate what needs to be done to the homeowner and to the crew. Am I the absolute expert? No. I surround myself with people like that. That's why I'm buddies with John Cenac and why he's a fellow mentor inside the Roofing and Solar Reform Alliance. So that being said, I remember getting started in roofing sales. I didn't have enough product knowledge. So if you or the owner or manager, just think like, what are the essentials that people need to learn in order to be comfortable selling roofing? So that's your next chunk. All right, now, before we get to number 7, let's just kind of relay these different chunks so you can approach your learning like reading chapters of a book or learning a new physical skill. Chunk number 1 is your canvassing opener. Chunk number 2 is your canvassing pitch. Chunk number 3 is your presentation. Chunk number 4 is how to actually close deals. Chunk number 5 is how to overcome objections. And chunk number 6 is your product knowledge. Now, you can consume the training in each of these areas. I provide almost all of it. You can get into my free training center. The companies that are part of the Roofing and Solar Reform Alliance have access to my full done for you system, all the formulas, all that jazz on demand in your pocket in our app. But wherever you're at in your journey, whether you want to join us or you're not ready to join us, maybe you're new and you're a salesperson, it doesn't matter. I'm going to help you out. And I'm going to give you resources, whether it's my free training center, whether you want to get free one-on-one coaching with my brand new AI clone. That's right. You can even video chat with me. I can help coach you through objections. We can even do role play. Or for folks who are part of or want to be part of the Roofing and Solar Reform Alliance, that's where you'll get access to my step-by-step, start-to-finish sales training system with videos and all the material to help and the guides right on an app on your phone or on your computer. So now that we have this framework, the 7th chunk is what we call sales practice. And I know I talked to Deshaun Bryant, who's a buddy of mine, also a fellow mentor inside the Roofing and Solar Reform Alliance. And he now uses sales practice instead of role play. And I tease, I say role play is for the bedroom and sales practice is what we do to refine our skills. So far too many people will gamble with their livelihood in the real world. What I mean by that is they do the book learning. They'll learn the canvassing opener, the canvassing pitch. They'll learn how to present. They'll learn how to close. They'll learn how to ask for the business. But the way that they actually practice this is in true to life scenarios, sitting at the kitchen table of a homeowner's house. And it is very high stakes. If you screw up, that means you just lost money. It means that someone basically metaphorically reached in your pocket and took money out because it cost you all the time and you left empty-handed. So what we want to do instead is sales practice to get in the repetition. And I teach how to do this in videos here on YouTube. You can watch role play videos and my video teaching you my role play process. I have a full built out training in my system. But the big idea is you want to approach this in chunks. Don't have bad practice. Have good practice and lots of repetitions. So day 1, practice your canvassing opener until it comes off effortlessly. Day 2, practice your canvassing pitch or after the homeowner responds. Day 3, practice your in-home presentation. Day 4, practice your close. Day 5, practice overcoming all the common objections. And if you put this sales practice in place, because when you're new, you have nothing else to do other than learn and get out there and in front of people, do these activities in the mornings and evenings. Spend as much time as you can out in the field in front of people, and you will make your very first sale very, very quickly. Thank you for joining me in this video. Take the next steps right now. Get into my free training center. My clone is also in there. You'll get access to all this stuff and my AI clone. We'll do some role play, help you overcome whatever objections you're facing. And I hope this video helps you become wildly successful in roofing sales. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you on the next one.